And fourthly, and I also introduced a few famous Buddhist scholars' texts which content natural science writing to the class. The great example of this is Chuxing Denju. Chuxing Denju, which we call it, the commentary on the water and the tree. And this is one of the great the Tibetan scholar, and the Bungtan Tembe Drimi in the 18th century. So he wrote this in the 18th century. I think this text can offer a particular accessible door for the getting student to begin thinking about science. It also gives me an important teaching tool for the educating students about the science and the Tibetan language. Also brings between Tibetan language class and my biology class, because also these Chuxing Denju will be taught in Tibetan language class. So when the students study those the text in the Tibetan language class, then automatically they can think about also there's biology terminology and also biology concepts in those the text. This is my method. Then I always assign research homework to related to their surrounding instead of direct from the book. For example, I ask my student to keep a journal of the flower, which I mentioned before. So also it helped me a lot. Here I would like to clarify that as for the other Tibetan class, it was impossible to them to express this in Chinese language. Lastly, as for the also maybe I will show this is in English is about the structure of the flower. This is also about monocots and dicots in the Tibetan. This is my notes I did get in the back to the Tibet, and this is in the English. So basically we have those terminologies. Lastly, as for this pilot class did not have other resources, so many of terms could not provided just from the textbook. So I try to look for the substitute terms from the traditional Tibetan medical texts and Buddhist texts. And sometimes I had to create my own terms based on the scientific definition. Then benefits of the learning the subject in Tibetan language, and gain the conceptual abilities, and also easy to understand the content of the Tibetan textbook. Interest in learning the subject. More often they feel like a confidence in the subject. Those are the benefit to the student. More adaptable in the two different language at a high level, like myself. In the early age, I learned Tibetan and also with the Chinese, but the Tibetan language as the medium, and later then Chinese language become like the medium. But it helped me between Chinese language and the Tibetan language. And deep connection to their own ancestral context of the science subject. Better performing in the classes, and also score higher for the standard exams and tests. So I would like to show these three classes final exam result when I gave back to 1991, and each class has total they have 40 students, and the Tibetan pilot class, and the Chinese student class, and the Tibetan student class. And the differences when you teach in Tibetan, the science in Tibetan language is, as you can see, like a student grade, between 100 to 90 to 100. In the pilot class, there's 5 Tibetan students get to this grade, and in Chinese, these are all Chinese students, but they using their mother tongue like Chinese to finish. The exam is exactly same. All the exam paper is exactly same. The difference is I just translate into Tibetan or from Tibetan to in Chinese. But in the Tibetan student class, there's 0. there's no student can get the grade between 90 to 100. So this is a big difference. How the students can understand the concept or understand the classes. And then between grade 60 to 89, and the pilot class is 26, and the Chinese class is 25, and the Tibetan student class are 22. Even though you can see here like there are 22 students in the between 60 to 89, but most like a student in this is in the 60s or few in 70s. And then the last one, the below 59 in China, because the pass grade is 60. So below 59 in Tibet pilot class has a 9, and the Chinese student class has 7. But in Tibetan student, like in the taught in Chinese language, it has 18. So through this chart, you can see how the Tibetan student performance in their mother tongue language or in Chinese language. So this is the one of my tests. Then about the challenges about this, that in this morning the Mr. Shou Tenzin in this morning he talk more. He did talk on this. So basically, most in Tibetan area, I think the challenges are same. Yeah, basically it's the same the challenges. So I won't go specific on this, but if you have any question about those, and then I would like to try to answer. And the conclusion in Tibetan language can serve as a medium of the instruction in sciences. In short, it is important to realize the significance of the Tibetan language to use of the language of the instruction for Tibetan students. The Tibetan language itself is a very rich language because it has already developed its own 10 major subject studies. As you know, we have 10 major subjects in Tibetan. So also in those 10 major subjects, also sometimes they related to the some of the some of the science knowledge and science knowledge, and especially Tibetan Buddhist terminology and its concepts are considered one of the best in the field. So what I believe. Tibetan language has because I'm saying this, and the Tibetan language has they can explain all the Buddhist terminology in Tibetan language. So I really strongly believe Tibetan language also can do well in the science too, terminology. So this is my talk today. So thank you very much.